Hi everyone! Today, I'll be having a book review of the story The Romanov Sisters. The story The Romanov Sisters was written by Sveta and comes up with 49 chapters only in English version and can also be read on the Good Novel app. The plot of the story associates with cruelty that they have experienced in their so-called New World, which changed the life of the 18-year-old woman Avery. However, upon entering the lives of the Romanovs, her fate changed when she met the cruel vampire mistress, Alexandra Romanov, and her sister, Anastasia Romanov, which is totally opposite from being a cruel and impatient. The story is about Avery Pierce, one of the remaining people who lived in the year 2054, which tyranny and injustice are normalized by the blood-sucking kind creatures, which are vampires. There are no nights which she won't hear screams, bombs, and gunshots from the war that made her despise the superiority of the rising numbers of the blood-sucking creatures. At the age of 15, she and her family are hiding together with the remaining human and live like an Anne Frank life. Her life changed forever when she witnessed the death of her brother and the tragic death of her parents from being slaughtered by the vampires. All that she could do was beg for mercy and being helpless. Even though begging was the only chance she thought of letting her go, the vampires didn't accept her and was abducted by the vampires and ended up in a huge building, which she thinks is like a science laboratory, together with the same people that were abducted in the same night as her. In there, they were tested in different type of observations because they will serve as a source of fresh bloods that vampires buy. She then realized that there are 3 classes of them that help her determine of what type of vampire she will encounter. After being observed for days, she was sent to an old royal house which was bought by one of the most powerful royal families in the world, the Romanovs, which how she met her mistress. Upon entering the mansion, she was mesmerized by the architectural designs of the mansion, the unwavering beauty of the facade. Then later, she was ushered by the guards to the room of her mistress. She was nervous and looked pale. Their first meet was inappropriate because Alexandra was being dominant and seductive towards Avery that made her shocked. Avery managed to escape from her, but unfortunately, she was quickly grabbed in the waist and neck by Alexandra. The behavior of Avery made Alexandra angry and bit her wrist up and bit hard into it. Avery screamed in pain as she could feel the razor-sharp teeth sinking in her veins. Alexandra later got her up and she stood up by the bed. Avery left the room feeling dizzy and looked pale as the venom from Alexandra's teeth ran through her veins. She wasn't able to walk properly until she stumbled into a blonde woman and offered help. The blonde woman already knew the reason why the latter wasn't well and planned to usher her to the room. But before she could walk, Avery asked the blonde woman's name, and it turns out to be Anastasia Romanov, the kind-hearted sister of Alexandra Romanov. Days have passed. Avery and Anastasia became close to each other. They shared a bond together and had a safe spot for each other. However, Alexandra still continues being rude to Avery and being obsessed with her. One morning, the mini chaos happened when Alexandra forced Avery to drink the human blood from the wine glass and was sexualizing the latter. It made Anastasia angry. No matter how hard she tried to save Avery from Alexandra, she couldn't do anything because the latter kept on manipulating her, and at the end, she found herself standing and not doing any actions. But things changed when Alexandra was doing something inappropriate to Avery. She's doing something inhumane to the latter. Alexandra was complacent not until Anastasia decided to fight her sister and save Avery. Anastasia did everything to save Avery, even if it affects her. Anastasia proves her love to Avery by protecting her away from her sister and brings the latter where they won't be disrupted by Alexandra. The story is a combination of cruel, emotional, on the love triangle between the characters Avery, Alexandra, and Anastasia, which led the story to have heavy tensions. The story is also GL, which attributes the presence of the LGBTQIA+, which enriches our lives by developing a deeper appreciation for the shared human experience. The author also used real-life persons as characters of the story, which are members of the last Russian royal family, who are the Romanovs. However, I won't recommend this story to 16 under because it has a lot of inappropriate scenes that aren't allowed for the younger ones. I would also recommend this book to people who like the concept of vampires and are open-minded enough to read LGBTQIA+ stories. If you're open to reading this type of story, I'm inviting you to read the story on the Good Novel app. And now, I'm ending this book review of mine. Thank you for listening and God bless.